And so what's the difference between getting is there much of a difference between getting an SBA loan to buy a traditional business versus an online business?
The real difference is that, and this is could be true for some on other retail businesses or just regular online businesses, is that typically in online business, there's really no collateral. Okay, the only
Right.
collateral might be the inventory if the business has inventory, and so really it is a heavily cash flow airball type transaction, which means that the SBA is particularly a good outlet for it. And for some people who don't really understand the SBA, it is Small Business Administration loans. The government does not make the loans directly, but they provide a guarantee to encourage some banks and non-bank lenders to participate in it to make riskier loans than they otherwise would. So it is a program to fuel economic growth, but you're not borrowing money from the government. You are borrowing money from the bank. And there generally are three big myths about SBA lending that I'd like to talk to people about. The first is people sometimes think the SBA is the lender, and that's not the case. The only time the SBA is the lender is if there's like an economic injury, like a crisis, like a hurricane or tornado. You're borrowing money from the bank or your lender, and you're going through their credit policy and their criteria. Second place people get messed up on SBA is they think SBA stands for small, so that's just for the smallest of lenders out there, of borrowers out there. And while I've seen SBA loans as small as $1,000, typically you can get up to $5 million for working capital, partner distributions by a business, et cetera, et cetera. So these loans can go quite large. And if it's actually a owner-occupied real estate project, say the business you're buying involves real estate, you can go up to 12.8 million on those. But perhaps the biggest place people get butched up on SBA loans is thinking that the SBA loan is, if they go to their bank and their bank says no, they're out. And that's absolutely not the case. There are, although there's like 1,400 lenders in the country who do SBA loans, the top 100 of them make up almost 80% of the volume. And each of them has their own unique attributes and credit policy and where they lend and how they lend and what they'd like to lend. So sometimes in SBA lending, you have to kiss a bunch of frogs to find a prince.